Greetings and welcome. Today, we're very excited in our third of the four series of LinkedIn integration. And this topic is going to be employer outreach, and job placement. So I'm going to go ahead and welcome Cecily, and she can take it over. So take it over, Cecily.
Awesome. Thanks so much for having me here today. Really excited for this session. I know that a lot of the grant is based around driving impact with employers and being able to identify employers and build partnerships there. So really excited to show you what tools are available to you in order to be able to better understand what's happening in your employer marketplace, and then also finding the right connections at companies to build those relationships. Before I get started, wanted to give some context around why LinkedIn is a great place for this. We have about 94% of the California workforce on LinkedIn today. So when you think about the number of people that you can reach from a mentorship perspective or from a perspective of finding people that are able to help your students, we have a vast majority of the workforce that's here. But we also work with almost every HR department in the entire country for their internal hiring priorities. So when you think about the opportunity that's available to you on LinkedIn when it comes to building employer partnerships, I don't know that there's any company out there that you aren't able to build some sort of connection with using LinkedIn, whether that's mom and pop auto shops all the way up through the Fortune 50. So we're going to talk a little bit about how to harness some of that power here and how to build those relationships on behalf of your students. This is going to be um, focused on that primarily. We may also touch on some of the premium features that are available for the business students, so you can help guide students into how to best leverage those tools in order to be able to drive to career outcomes when they are graduating from the programs. Any questions so far on like LinkedIn's network or what we mean to employers or why we're focusing in this area? Awesome. I'm going to go ahead and start sharing my screen. If you have specific use cases or things you're focused on, please feel free to like hop off chat, or we can do a lot of this through real examples or real search ideas here. But I'm going to start in our Talent Insights dashboard because I think that this is really helpful for you as you think about building those employer partnerships and understanding what are the companies that I should be engaging with, and where am I going to be able to drive to the best career outcomes for my students through those partnerships. So when you're trying to build to understand what's happening within a particular labor market, you can create a talent pool report here. And this is going to enable you to actually see any kind of jobs that are available. You use the left-hand side of the screen here to be able to customize based on different criteria. So if you want to understand where are most of the accounting jobs located or customer service jobs, you can enter those job titles. You can also just look at specific skills that a student might have. So ask them some of the skills or some of the things that they think that they're best at, or skills that would be associated with their major, and you can pull back information from that. You can look at specific industries. So if you wanted to look at healthcare or construction or something along those lines, you're able to look at specific industries. And you can also do it by degree type. So let's say if we wanted to just see where's the people with associate's degrees in the greater Sacramento, what kinds of opportunities are available or the Sacramento area. This is going to pull back everybody that has an associate's degree in the Sacramento area. And this is a great way to determine um, where which companies are doing the most hiring. So you're able to see we have 21,000 job postings eligible for students with associate's degrees. We can see what companies are hiring for that talent, who has the most job postings in the area. We can actually go in and look at what kinds of job functions those are in, things along those lines. So this is really going to be we develop a strategy around where should we be focusing our time from an employer outreach perspective. Maybe we jump in and see there's a lot of different types of roles here, but maybe we're trying to help um, I'm going to do sales because that goes across a lot of industries. So let's say we want to pull back the job salesperson, or customer service specialist. Now, this is going to adjust those search results in the Sacramento area so that we're able to see the job openings specific to those roles and identify the companies that are employing most of that talent today. Give me one second. There we go. So here we can see some of these companies. And then if we wanted more information about a company, so let's say Stryker has 4 job openings right now in the Sacramento area. Maybe we want to be looking at building a partnership with Stryker to help serve some of their customer service roles. We can also go in and get some more information on a company by company basis to learn more about what Stryker is doing, what they're trying, who some of their competitors are, things along those lines. Also, if we have an employer partnership in place with an organization, so let's say we're already working with the California Department of Public Health as an example, we can actually see where the California Department of Public Health, I'm going to do customer service skills here. So I'm doing this as a skill now. But this is going to pull back all the employees that are working at the California Department of Public Health in a customer service capacity or that have those skills listed on their profile. We can see what job titles are using those customer skills. But we can also see what companies they're overlapping with for customer service talent. Sorry, there's a bit of a lag here. So this is where they're overlapping for customer service talent specifically. So if we had a relationship with the Department of Public Health, maybe we want to go to the Department of Healthcare Services and say, we're already partnering with the Department of Public Health. We'd love to partner with the Department of Healthcare Services also and reach out to the HR team there. You can also look at the job titles that are associated with customer service roles at a specific organization. So associate analyst might be some of the job titles we're looking to get people into. But there's a number of different job titles here, and you can see the number of hires that they've made within the last year for those job titles. One other thing that might be interesting here is really understanding where your alumni are working today in a particular area. So let's say we were identifying American River alumni and then looking at healthcare industry. Let's do that. And we'll add public health in too. And we do it across the entire United States now. This is going to help you understand where your healthcare alumni are working today, and this can also be a good way to identify employer partnerships. So we might be wanting to look to build a relationship here with Sutter Health. Before I move off of this, because I'm going to go into how to contact people from these organizations next, this is the tool that's really used to identify who should I be doing outreach to, who's going to have the jobs that matter most to my students. But before I move off of this, does anybody have like an example of a search that they'd want to run or some type of employer that they'd be looking to build a partnership with that's a use case that I haven't covered today, so that we can walk through that live? Go for it, Julie.
Okay, so I literally just had our computer science department chair in here, and we are just so frustrated because we really want more. We want to understand which companies in Sacramento are hiring computer science interns or in any, cybersecurity, software, information technology, and networking. So that's a holy grail that we're looking for. Especially interns.
Yes, I'm going to add a job title of intern in a minute. Are there specific like programming languages that they specialize in, or are there some skills that I can add in before doing an intern?
Python, Java, C++. There's probably a whole lot of ones I don't know, but
Okay.
yeah, networking.
So what I would do for a search like that is, so network administration, start adding in the skills that are most important here, and then do a job title of intern, and then add in all of those intern job titles. So summer intern, we probably don't need marketing intern because we're not looking for that. Engineer intern, student intern. That probably covers that. So now we are finding people that have these skills and one of these job titles that are in here. And this is going to show the company that employed that talent in the past year. So we know that there was at least one intern that went to these organizations that have those skills in their profile. And then we can also see like which of those job titles that fell under. But these are places where we know that there was at least one internship. And so these are places that you could potentially dig into for more internships. Not every intern lists their experience, or not every intern would have the same skills. But we know that there's some sort of intern program here because they've hired at least one person to be able to do that in the Sacramento area.
Okay, thank you.
I have a question about the greater Sacramento area. So does that mean that it's looking in the surrounding counties or just all of Sacramento County?
It's like a 60-mile radius from city center, I believe, is what that's looking at. But you can also do it by counties or city location. So if you wanted to do Sacramento County instead, you can do that also. I usually just default to that greater Sacramento search. But if we do Sacramento County, which is actually a larger radius than what we're looking at right now, that actually increases that number of, and we also added that we also took off the keywords, but that expands out and gives you like more or less options depending on what you're looking for. And you can stack counties, you can stack metropolitan areas and things like that. I usually, if you're looking within 60 miles, like greater Sacramento is kind of what I normally default to, but you can do anything there. Any other questions or other searches that you could think of that you'd like to look at here? The more of these we run, the more I feel like everybody gets ideas on what they need to do. Awesome. So if we feel like we have what we need from an internship perspective there, and we understand like these are companies that might have interns, next step that you're going to do, and we can actually jump into this a number of ways, but you're going to go into the outreach platform called Recruiter that we have. And so this is used to build relationships. It was built initially primarily for internal recruitment. So if you're trying to hire someone at your organization, that's what it's built for. But for the purposes of what we're doing here and through this program, anything that's related to a job outcome can be run a search in Recruiter. So if you're trying to find alumni to come back to campus to speak at a career fair, or if you're trying to do mentorship programs for students or anything like that, you can use this to do outreach for anything that's related to a career outcome. So if we go ahead and run the search, I normally, because this is built primarily for HR from an AI perspective, I would recommend using the search with advanced filters field here. In this case, I'm going to go ahead and do Greater Sacramento in this system. You can, oh, no, I'm not doing Greater Sacramento, sorry. I was going to look at some of the companies that we saw in that last search. So let's say we were looking at Sutter Health as an example. And then I'm going to do Sutter Health Bay Area as well, because I think there might be some overlap there. So let's say we're using just these two. One thing you want to do here is adjust this to, it must have a priority, or actually we're going to do can have because we don't want to eliminate that, but we want this to be current for the areas that we're looking at. And then I'm going to add in job titles that are related to hiring. So this could be something like a recruiter or Vice President of Human Resources. Sometimes I can type.
Been a long day, it's okay.
It has been, but it's okay. We're still going. And we want this to be current job title, so we're going to keep going through here. And then we can add in things like maybe we want to find Chief Diversity Officer. Things like, and you can update must have, can have, but we always want it to be current is the main thing here. So there's ways that you can adjust there. Then we run that search. What this is going to do is pull back the employer's potential employer partnerships that you could have. So here we've got the Chief Diversity and Inclusion Officer. From here, we can make a Sutter Health project if we want to for all of the stakeholders that we're looking for, that we're trying to do outreach to, and then we can actually message all of these at once, or we can send a message directly from the profile here. I recommend doing it in projects so you can do a follow-up again afterwards, so that you can continue to follow up if someone did not reach out. Now the other thing that you can do is actually do templates here. So this actually are templates that you can set up and you can save any message as a template. So to do that, you can just save as an InMail template. Hang on, sorry, in this case, this already is a template, so it's not going to enable me to do that. But let's say I drafted an AI assisted message, it's personalizing that message. If I wanted to save that, I'm able to save that as a template in the system here. And then that will make it easier to follow up to that. The other thing you can do is set a follow-up message if you haven't heard back from this individual. So if you want to add a follow-up, you can add a follow-up message. And if you have heard back before then, it will not send that follow-up message. So this is how you're going to work on trying to build some of those employer partnerships and continue to follow up from there. Now, if we didn't want to target specific companies, we could also just look at, we want to see who's in these job titles in the Sacramento area. We can pull back everybody that has those job titles and then cross-reference that. We could take the companies that we identified that had internships and build multiple companies into here so that we're able to run a search across multiple companies. Really, this is customizable however you would like it to be customized. And you're able to do the outreach from there. Now, if you're trying to help pair students with mentorship programs or potentially want a warmer lead, you can also look up your alumni from a specific program. So you can say, I want to find people that attended American River College. Yeah. In this case, they must have American River College in the folks. That's all we're looking at. And then I want them to, we don't care if they're located in Sacramento or not, but I want them to have studied. You can choose a field of study if you wanted to see like what major that they had. So let's say we wanted to find someone who had studied political science. Well, we have a lot of IT folks on the line. So let's say they studied information technology or computer science. I don't know what the major is going to be called here, but this is getting back into standardizing. So now we're looking at the 2,600 alumni that you have that had studied in those fields of study. And we're able to see where people are working. And then if we're looking for an internship, maybe we want someone that's in a higher level position. We could also do this to find people that are managers and above. So pull back alumni that are in manager level positions, or maybe they own the company or directors or are chief executive officers or VPs. So this is going to now narrow this down to people that are in higher level positions that might actually be able to influence hiring behaviors. And these are all American River alumni here. And so we're able to see where these folks are working and what they're doing. So here's a director of product management at Product Space. Here's a guy that started his own company, which seems to have been around for a while. Maybe he wants to sponsor some alumni. You can see the different types of roles that are here. And then if we wanted to do another layer on this and we wanted to see the company size that they're at, we can actually narrow this down so we aren't getting these one-off things. So let's say we want to find people that are at larger organizations that have multiple employees. We can narrow this down by company size. And then these are going to be people that are working at larger organizations that might be able to do mentorship programs with your team. So pausing here, these are the things that you guys would be doing on behalf of students. If you were building relationships, students would not have access to this profile. But this is something that I think is helpful for you to just know that this, or to be able to do this outreach on behalf of the students. Does anybody have any questions about either of these things before I switch to the premium licenses and also just generally on LinkedIn.com, some of the ways that students can empower themselves in their job search?
I have a question on the search. How do you turn off the open to work? So if I was trying to find someone to be a successful guest speaker, I wouldn't necessarily want someone looking for work. How do I turn off the open to work?
I don't know that there is actually a way to take that off. So I would recommend then they're probably actually going to go to the top of the list. Again, this is normally people are trying to hire. So the algorithm is going to default. But if you go down a couple of days, a couple of pages, then it should probably remove some of those because those are going to appear closer to the top of the search results. So then you're going to get into people that aren't necessarily looking for work as often. And the other thing to note is sometimes people will list open to work. I wouldn't reach out to people that have that banner, but there's some people that just keep that open to work filter on all the time because they might be in a job but open to hearing about new opportunities even if they aren't actively looking. So I don't know that necessarily means definitely don't reach out to them with the open to work filter. It's just if there's this banner on, you probably don't want to do that for sure.
I got it. Okay.
Any other questions? Any searches that people want to run or things that they want to look at in here? Or do you feel pretty comfortable with the platform?
So what level of LinkedIn do I have to have to be able to do this? Because I'm just the basic level.
So you have to have access to a recruiter account. Are you an employee of American River College though?
Well, I'm with SETA. I'm a contractor with American River College.
Okay. You should be able to get access to that, I believe. Heidi, can you confirm that for me?
Yeah, I can confirm it on this end as we speak because I updated all those. What you might need to do, Amy, as
If you
well,
can-
is log out and then log back in. But I'm double checking it because I did a global update for all those.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, you should have access to this, but you have to click an activation link that Heidi had sent to you. So you need to find that activation
Yeah,
link
I
and then
sent one this
activate
morning.
that.
It's invited. I'm gonna send it again. I'm gonna resend the invite to you. I just
Okay.
resent it for you.
Okay, great.
Okay, Amy?
Let me look for it. Thank you for answering that.
Absolutely. It might go in junk.
What?
Well,
Junk, yes.
sometimes
It
the
comes from-
settings, well, no,
Oh,
sometimes the settings for LinkedIn, it gets spammed on certain organizations. ARC, I've had to pull it out too. You have
Mine
to,
mine went to the
I,
other inbox.
the other, yeah,
The other, not the focus, the other.
the other,
okay, I just found it. Thank you. Yeah, yeah.
absolutely.
Of course, it went into my spam. Like I have a couple spam.
Okay, it's all good.
Yeah,
Yep.
thank you.
So you should have access to that and the Insights platform. You'll get separate links to log into either of those. And then once you have done that, I'm getting ready to go over to LinkedIn.com. Anyway, from your LinkedIn profile, you'll be able to access both the Insights and the Recruiter platform from your personal profile once that's done. So, and the learning platform too, if you're using that. So learning will be at the bottom. The talent insights will be in the middle here, and then recruiter will be there. And once you've activated all of those, you should be able to access them from your LinkedIn profile. One thing to note is make sure when you're sending messages on behalf of the work you're doing for American River that you're doing that from that recruiter folder. Because that way, if you're ever working on a different project or a different job, like American River will still own the outreach that you did or the employer partnerships that you tried to build.
Right. And the only other thing, again, everything has to be American River based, or if you're from another campus, everything needs to have the business technology focus or business information professional focus. If not, we're out of compliance. So please stick to those limitations.
Thanks, Heidi, for the reminder. Any other questions before I move on?
Yeah, this is Julie. I was gonna ask that same thing. So really, this talent insights is only available to us, right? And it's part of our ability in this demo that you just did is part of our it's a strategy for employer engagement, right? It's not something that students would use.
Correct. Yep. So these are the tools that are specifically for you to use and help coach your students. I will say I think that there's some benefit if students are trying to explore career options or things like that. You can help guide them into like what job titles are most important for them or things like that by entering skills that they have and then looking at job titles with them
Right.
or
Not that they might be sitting
things
front
like that.
next to me and I might be dipping into this. Yeah.
Yeah. But they won't have direct access to this, at least not at this point. We have had some conversations around potential access for student programs, and I think that's something that we're exploring that could be available in the future. But for now, it's based on like faculty and staff. And this is granted for anybody that has the recruiter license, which is how we're assigning it.
But that's not to say that we couldn't do this research and say, hey, I found so and so that's working at this company called Grok. You know, that might be somebody you want to
Correct.
reach out and network with from your end.
Correct.
Okay.
Yep. And you can also like pull screenshots of it if they need to look at like a larger view or things like that. That's all completely okay.
Okay. Excellent.
As long as it's used on a one-to-one basis, you can't post it on a website, but you can give it to an individual from an individual, and that's fine. Any other questions here before I move on? So I did want to highlight for the students in the business program, we also do have premium licenses available. And those are going to be available for any student that is working in that program. And it includes a couple of additional features, which include LinkedIn Learning, which we've talked about on the previous two calls. And I think most of the folks here have made one of those calls previously. But it will include access to LinkedIn Learning after they leave the program for the amount of time that I think the licenses run for 6 months. So we have 200 of those. It also includes the ability to connect with more people, to send messages to people that aren't in their network and things along those lines. So one of the things that I like to highlight, because I think that this is really powerful stuff for being able for students to network for themselves. So if the students aren't going to have access to the Talent Insights Network, there's a few features that I think are helpful to help guide them to empower their own job search. So in the free company page on LinkedIn, there's like a scaled down version of the alumni tool that I showed you today. So when we go in here, I don't know, I'm not following you guys. So when you go in here, you can go under this alumni tab here. So if they want to be able to reach out to people on their own without having to go through you, they can identify, like we talked about, like the Sutter Health roles. If they click on this, it's going to pull back everybody that went to American River that are now working at Sutter Health. And they're able to then build connections from there, or they can also reach out and send messages. Like I said, even if they don't have a connection, they can also just go in and send message requests. So you can say message Joanne, and they're going to be able to send messages to empower their job search as well. Typically, the advice I give when I'm actually working directly with job seekers is to do some research on the company that they're reaching out to first, before actually sending messages to people. So in the Sutter Health example, if you're doing that research on LinkedIn's company page, a few places where I like to encourage people to check are this post tab, because this is going to be information about like the company updates or things like that. The member that they're reaching out to, their personal profile to see what their personal interests are and things along those lines. This life tab is going to actually indicate what the employer values and make sure that that aligns with like what the student's looking for. But I normally recommend that when a student's doing direct outreach, that there is a specific reference to something that's in their profile or thing or a company value or something like that before at the open of their message. So it would start with something like, I saw that you are an American River alumni and are working at Sutter Health. I was really impressed with Sutter Health's commitment to diversity, equity, and inclusion because that's something that I value in a workplace. I'm currently finishing my certificate program at American River College, and I'm looking to explore career opportunities. I'm really interested in learning more about the work that you're doing at Sutter Health. Would you be open to connecting for 15 minutes or something like that would be an example of the message that they would send. So start with something about them, then give a little bit of background on themselves, and then ask for 15 minutes of their time. Something else that's available for the students that will have the premium licenses is they will get access to this Insights tab, which is somewhat helpful on a company page because you can see where companies are growing or shrinking, or if there's company alumni that have gone to other areas. It'll give you a sense of where the company's at, but again, somewhat helpful. I think where it's really helpful is the analytics that appear on job postings. So if we were looking at Department Assistant 1 as an example of what we're looking for here, it's going to give you how you compare to other candidates who clicked apply. So most of the candidates are entry level. That's great for me. You can see what type of degree that they're going to have. And then all the hiring trends flow through there. So that's helpful to just have some more insight into how many people are applying for the job, who am I up against, things like that. If they are going to click apply from LinkedIn, I would also recommend continuing to network or finding someone at the organization to actually do outreach to, whether that's building relationships with recruiters, building relationships with the hiring managers, department leads, alumni from your school, things like that, to try to get personal referrals or ways to get in the door. So that's definitely something that's helpful as well. And it's something that we will start hosting sessions, like when we get to the point where we're assigning more of these premium licenses, we'll start hosting sessions for the students that are using the premium licenses to make sure that they're comfortable using them. Any questions about the premium licenses? Great. And then I'd started doing some job search stuff at the beginning of this, but one thing that I did want to show, a couple of filters in the job search that might be helpful to empower your students as they are searching for jobs. So let's say they wanted to look for internships in the greater Sacramento area. This is going to pull back the intern programs that are here. So this will give you a sense of some of those interns that are available in the jobs. But there's also some filters that are here. So some of the things that are helpful is if you wanted to update this to the United States, you could do a remote job filter as well. I mentioned that fair chance employer filter for justice impacted individuals. That can be helpful for some of your students that have a criminal background and are looking for companies that aren't going to discriminate based on that. You can look at different types of jobs as well. So if you want internships versus paid jobs, you can see there's like different types of jobs. So if they're looking for volunteer opportunities or internships or part-time employment, all of those job types are available in here to filter down as well. And once they develop a job search that they like, they can also set an alert against those jobs. And again, then they can go in and learn more about the companies where they're getting the alerts from to go ahead and get some more information about those opportunities that are available for them. So there weren't a ton of questions on this session, and I don't have much else to cover here, but would love to open it up for questions, or if anybody wants to do any more of those practice rounds, I'm happy to run searches or do anything else that would be helpful at this time.
Awesome. And if you're one of those that I updated your status, just go ahead and make sure that your status has reflected those changes. And if not, please let me know.
Any final questions?
I have a question for Heidi. So is the marker for knowing our status has changed when we see the bit for business and recruiter options at the top of our page?
In the right-hand side, you'll then see the admin.
Yeah, okay. I don't think let me see him.
So make sure you log back out and log back in.
It would say recruiter once you've activated it for most people. So yes, if you click that recruiter button and it lets you in, or if you click the Talent Insights button and it lets you in from your personal profile, that means that you have access.
It's giving me a sign-on page.
Yep. And then you sign into that with your same password as your LinkedIn profile.
Okay.
That's just to get into the separate dashboard, and then you'll be in.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm struggling to get in. It's sending me. I think I've used up my codes. It's not. Let's try again.
That's okay. I can send it again.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
All right.
I'll just
Would you
send it
mind?
again. Not at all.
Yeah. Thank you.
Not at all, Amy. I have to find it. What have I done? Too many windows.
A quick question. So our regular LinkedIn account, it's not premium, right?
No, your
Okay.
regular LinkedIn account is not premium. We have premium licenses that we can distribute to the students from the business program, which
Got
Heidi,
it.
I have the
Okay.
codes for that. So that is the students themselves would be using that. You would be using the recruiter and the Talent Insights dashboard to run the searches and do the outreach that we talked about at the beginning of the session.
Got it. Okay.
Vivian, you have a
Viv-
question?
Can you run through again creating the project folder in the Talent Insights? That would be really helpful. Thank you.
In the recruiter dashboard or the Talent Insights? You don't really create a project folder in Talent Insights.
Okay. I guess it's the talent pool report.
So normally the project folders are in recruiter.
Okay. Because when I'm in Insights, when I'm on the home page, it says create a talent pool report.
Oh, yes. Okay. So when you go in to create a talent pool report, that's what you're going to use 90% of the time. So talent pool report is going to be any of the labor market information. Company report is going to be like information on a specific company, but you can also get to those company reports whenever you want. And then American River, this would be about your company on LinkedIn, but you probably won't use that very often. 9 times out of 10, you're going to go in to create a talent pool report. Then that's going to bring you to the screen that we're in here. And what is an example of a report that you'd be looking to run here?
Well, I guess for the purposes of business information workers, I guess probably you'd start there.
Yeah, or I mean, like this is where you'd probably be wanting to identify the employer. So is there a job title that the students would want to be, that you would want to be helping students move into, like administrative assistant or
Yeah,
IT specialist, or what are some of the job titles?
Probably admin assistant is what I'm thinking, or office associate, right? I see that sometimes. So in this, we just, in the job title, we just pull all of those. Is that right? All in one?
Yeah, so you can put multiple job titles in here. So if we wanted to do office manager, office associate, administrative specialist. So you just kind of like, it'll start, if you do like administrative and office for a while, you can pull out a lot of the job titles. Then you can say, I want to find them in the Sacramento area, or you could enter intern here or apprentice or whatever you're looking for. Then this is going to pull back all of the administrative assistants that are in the area, and the companies that are hiring most of them. But you can also see if there's any job postings that are currently in the area for administrative assistant types of roles or receptionists. So now we've got H&R Block's hiring a lot of receptionists. We can see Dignity Health is hiring medical office reps here. Cal State Sacramento has administrative assistants or office administrative support there. So you're able to see some of those employers, some of them might even have salaries for their administrative assistant roles, things along those lines. And so you can see the open jobs or who's hiring the most administrative professionals as a whole.
And now, can we save that instead of having to go through it each time? Is that bookmark tab on the upper right, or is it that drop down create report?
Yeah, so that would be to save the report, you would just use this like little flag here. And then if you want to share this report with, for example, one of your students or things like that, you can add it into a folder to enable it for someone that doesn't have access to the platform to view it. So this would be if you want to save it for yourself, and this is if you want to share it out. And then your saved reports will show up here after you've saved them. Any other questions? Hopefully this
Okay.
is helpful. There's
Awesome.
certainly a lot of opportunity here.
Awesome.
So I have a
Alright.
setup question because it's telling me that I need to enter a 6-digit code, which I'm getting from my email on my phone. But now it's telling me I have to go to the Authenticator app, and I don't know what that is.
Authenticator app is an application you'll want to add to your phone. It's an Authenticator app, and it's an app that you'll be using that anytime you need to be authenticated, it will send a code to that app, and then you'll use that app.
Oh, so I need to upload that from.
Yeah, just go to Google Play or Play Store, and then have
Right.
it. Yeah, and then that way it's just identification. It's the best way to do it as far as secure identification. Make sure nobody accesses your profile.
Okay, so that tells
Okay.
you how untechnical I am.
It's okay. It's okay. That's why we're here. All right. So the next section at 3 is alumni engagement
I
and
think Vivian has one more question
Vivian,
before.
sorry.
Can we go back and change once we've saved a report? Let's say we go back and we want to change the parameters that we entered. Let's say, oh, I forgot to add this job title. Can you show me how we go back and do that?
Sure.
Redefining a report.
So if I was in a saved report, so I'm going to go into a report that I already have saved here. And so now I'm just looking for biologists, but let's say I wanted to look at molecular technologists also. And then that's actually going to change the report. So I could just save a new report and then delete the old report.
Okay, so it'll delete the
When
old
you
one and
update
just
it.
replace it. Okay, got it. Thank you.
No problem. Any other questions?
No, this is great. Thank you.
No
Awesome.
problem.
Okay, everyone, thank you so much. Go grab water if you're coming to our next session. Cecily, you too, take a little break, and then we'll at 3 o'clock, the next section will be alumni engagement and outcome tracking. And that will be our final for the day. Okay, I'll see you then. Bye now.
Thank you. Bye.